Like every time you get a check, give to God, give to yourself, give to your future self, then pay your bills. I was like, future self? Wait, yourself and then future. He said, yeah. Give something to you now, enjoy it, but give something to your future self that you can't enjoy today, but your future self can enjoy. I was like, that is so good.
What's happening? No captain. We with AO, about to get a plate. Oh, pull up to the table. Let's go.
After Bankrate did a huge study last year, they found out that the biggest financial regret that American people had was not having enough money saved and invested for emergencies and for wealth building opportunities. When you dive deeper into the study performed by Bankrate, they realized that millions of retirement age adults say that they wish they had saved more money and invested more money in their 20s and in their 30s. My message that I teach is personal finance. And I want to make sure that I am encouraging you and equipping you and giving you the proper information to make sure that by the time you get to your 60s and your 70s, you have positioned yourself to where you can be financially free and you don't have to worry about anything when it comes to money. But if we are not making the proper decisions in our 20s, in our 30s, and even in our 40s with our finances, with our gifts and with our the tools that we have inside of us that's producing income, by the time we get older, we are in trouble. We are struggling. We are frustrated. It makes no sense to be 80-something years old and you have to drive for Uber. You have to deliver groceries for Instacart. You have to deliver food through DoorDash. What? It makes no freaking sense. My grandmother, my parents will not be doing it. My wife and I will not be doing it. And I am daggone for sure. I was about to curse that I'm going to make sure that my kids are not doing that. While I was reading this study, it took me back to several years ago to when I was coming back to my hotel room from doing a news interview. And this one particular lady was my room service lady, and she was in my room cleaning up the hotel room. Watch this. She was in her 80s. And when she was walking around the bed, holding her back, I heard her say, God, please help me get through this day. And she said it in such a way that you could tell she was in pain and that she was tired and she was ready to go home. And when I got in the room, I respectfully said, ma'am, listen, I'm a young man. I'm good. You don't have to worry about cleaning up my room. I'm here for another 2 days doing media, but you are good. I reached in my pocket, gave her a $20 tip. I said, thank you so much. I just need one thing from you. Just give me some lotion, because I'm black and it's 20 degrees outside and I'm ashy. Other than that, don't worry about me for the next 2 days. She went and got the lotion, and I met her halfway at the door, and I got the lotion, and before she turned around to go outside the door, she looked at me and she said, young man, use your youthfulness wisely. Because the reason why I'm cleaning up your room today in my 80s is because I didn't use my youthfulness wisely. She turned back around and she was walking away. I turned back around and I walked towards the bed, and when she closed the door, literally it's like a TV show. When the door closed, I was sitting on the bed at the same time. And I got a little emotional because I was like, man, that can't be my mother at 80-something years old. That's not gonna be my father at 80 years old. That's not gonna be my wife or me at 80 years old. And dag on it, that's not going to be my kids at 80 years old. And Anthony, I can guarantee that by making the right decisions today with my money. And family, you can make the right decision today with your money. Because here's the truth. Your financial future is depending on your financial decisions today. The caliber of your financial future is depending on the financial decisions that you make today. And I want to give you some knowledge today that will help you understand what you should be doing in the season that you're in today. If you're in your 20s, we're going to break that down, because I'm talking about today, how much money should you have saved and what should you be investing and what are the basic things you should be doing with your money at every age bracket. And so you need a pen, get a paper, and you're going to write down some notes. If you're listening to this on podcast, hey, turn it up, save it. And then also, I'm pulling out the iPad today. I'm writing these things down because I want you to see it. I want you to apply it. I want you to get this information. Okay? But before we get into today's notes, before we get into today's conversation, a couple of quick little things. Do not forget that my course is open today. Okay? It closes tomorrow. This is an amazing course that I'm passionate about because I want to help you get six figures into your pocket this year. This is the Entrepreneur's Blueprint, the roadmap to building and monetizing your personal brand. It is a proven system that my team and I have put into place that it makes us six figures a month. And we're going to show you how to make an extra $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 a month to six figures extra a year. So if you want to get a part of that, I want you to go over to AnthonyONeal.com, sign up for the course today. We'll put all the information in today's show notes because I promise you, you're going to love it. You want to be wealthy in the future? You're going to love this course. Come join us. It is extremely cheap. It's only $497. $497. And I'm going to show you within 30 days how to get your money back and an extra $1,000 within 30 days. Where else can you go? Give $497 and guaranteed if you apply what I teach you within 30 days, you got $1,500 in your pocket. Come join me. Go to AnthonyONeal.com, subscribe there, or you can go and click on today's show notes. Number two, make sure that you are subscribed. I mean, you're a part of this family. Hit that thumbs up. Join this family because we're going somewhere this year. And then last but not least, I want to thank one of our sponsors today, Bethel Tech. Bethel Tech is the rising organization when it comes to equipping and getting all people, especially minority people, into the tech community. There are two particular careers when it comes to that are making millionaires. Number one is a content creation space, which I'm offering through my course. And then number two is the tech space. The average individual, the median age people, and the median income for this tech community is anywhere between $70,000 to $100,000 a year. You have 20-somethings and 30-somethings and even 60-somethings leaving their particular career fields right now, starting off, and they're making anywhere from $80,000 to $90,000. This is I think it's like a 9-month program. It's going to range anywhere between $14,000 and like $17,000 to get inside the program. And within 9 months, if you go to tech route through Bethel Tech, you can be making six figures a year if you enjoy the tech space. So I want to thank today's sponsors. You can go to AnthonyONeal.com/Bethel to learn more information about them. So let's get into it. CJ, send me over to my iPad here real quick if you can, please. All right, so let's talk about this, you guys. Let's say you are in your 20s, all right? Let's say you're in your 20s. Actually, I don't like how big that is. I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. And those of you all who are listening on the podcast, I am drawing on my iPad. So if you want to see these numbers in place, then all you gotta do is just come over to YouTube and you'll join us. But let's say you're in your 20s. What should you be doing right now in your 20s that will set you up to win when it comes to your 60, 70-year-old yourself, okay? In your 20s, you're probably just now graduating from college, or you just now got your first job, and you probably still have some student loans, so that's cool. So in the 20s, here's what I want you to do. I want you to have at least $1,000 sitting in your emergency fund, okay? I call that EF. I want that sitting in your emergency fund, okay? That's the very first thing. I want you to put $1,000 minimum. Here's why it's so important for 20-year-olds. It's because nearly 42% of the people in America today can't even afford a $1,000 emergency. They can't. So the moment you put $1,000 in your bank account, you're ahead of nearly half of the people in the world. And that's strong. That is strong, okay? So that's number one, okay? Then number two, I want you to pay off debt. I want you to focus on paying off all your debt, all of it. All of it. I'm going to put a link in this video because just a couple of weeks ago, we talked about Debt Payoff 101. So anyone watching right now, if you're sitting here saying, hey, okay, cool, great. How do I pay off my debt? I did a whole hour-long video on how I was able to pay off the debt. We're going to link that in today's show notes so that way you can go back and watch that whole process, sign up for Ramsey Plus, and get out of debt. Here's number three. stop dating. You know, when I say stop dating, this is what I mean. You got to have priorities in place. I'm not saying completely stop dating. Here's what I am saying. Stop spending excessive amount of money on dates. You need to have a line item when it comes to dating. Because we see when you're in your 20s, man, it's all about let me have fun, let me have fun, let me have fun. Let me go out here and just spend. The reason why I say stop dating in your 20s, because when I was in my 20s, I was focused on how do I impress her. And I spent so much money on dating rather than spending my money and putting my money where it can grow, putting my money where it matters. Not where I can impress people, but where was I putting my money where it mattered, okay? So once you have $1,000 in your emergency fund, once you start paying off your debt, I want you to really be strategic with how you are dating. Then from there, listen, in your 20s, I would definitely say have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund, but in your 20s, you may be still living at home. You may have some roommates. I want you to put at least the minimum of $5,000 to $10K inside of your savings account. Bare minimum, okay? Bare minimum. And this $5,000, you don't touch it. You don't touch that. I don't care how fine she is, brothers. I don't care if your hair gets wet, ladies, you better blow dry that joker. I want you to sit on this money. You don't touch this money until it's an emergency. I don't care if the latest Jordans just came out. Wear the same ones you just bought last year. And if you want brand new ones, go buy you some cleaner and go clean the daggone shoes. I don't care if the new purse came out. I don't care if you want a Chanel purse, a Gucci purse, Louis Vuitton purse, a Kate Spades, a Dooney purse. I don't care. Right now, it's about setting yourself up to be in a position where you can be financially free here way before you turn 60 and 70. Because here's why this stuff matters so much to me. They say the average person, the average black person would die right around 77 years old. 77. Retirement age is 65. So you're trying to tell me that I can legally retire at 65. I can pull from my 401k at 65. I can do all that to only really enjoy 11, 12 years of my life? What? Are you serious? So this stuff is the bare minimum. This is the basic. This is why I'm doing my course. This is why you need to sign up for my course. Because I don't want you to wait until you retire to where you can enjoy it and do the things that you want to do. I want you doing that right now. Right now. But if we don't put ourselves in the right position, if we don't set ourselves up right, we will not be able to do that. So if you're in your 20s, the very first thing you got to do is you got to reprogram your brain. I get it. I'm young and I should be able to enjoy my youthfulness. I want you to have fun. But I don't want you to have fun at the cost of your future. Ooh, 2 F's. Don't allow fun impact your future in a negative way. Don't do it. Do not do it. In your 30s, what are we talking about in our 30s? Okay, so let's say you're in your 30s. All right, cool. You're going to be a little bit more established. Let's be real. If you're in your 30s, I am in my 30s. Okay, you'll have work experience. You have a couple of few pay raises. And I really want you to be debt free. You know, in your 30s, you should be really nailing down on from within my tribe. We should be financially in a good place to where, hey, we got the job, we've got a couple of pay raises. We should be situated inside of our careers. And if we're not situated inside of our careers, we're really making some solid changes right now to get situated inside of our careers, okay? At this point, you want to maintain that 6 months of expenses inside of emergency funds. So number one, you should already have 6 months. Okay, in savings. Okay, so for the average person, the average cost of living for someone to actually live comfortably, let me get my math out here, is going to be about $3,200, okay? So $3,200 times 6, that's gonna be about $19,200, okay? Depending on where you are. You may be on the East Coast, like in the South Carolina, North Carolina, you really only need about $10,000 to $12,000. But if you're in California, you're gonna need that $19,000 to $20,000. So your goal should be to have the minimum of $15,000 to $20,000 in your savings, okay? This is very, 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 very important. You need to have $15,000 to $20,000 minimum sitting in your savings account for emergencies. Now, here's something that I really want to stress to you at this point of your life, right? And then honestly, CJ, send me back over to the board here. I want to add this over here in number 5 to the young people. I want you investing at least $100. Shoot. What was that, 5,000? Yeah. And I want you investing at least $100 into a Roth 401k or HSA, okay? If we can invest $100 into some compound interest account in our 20s, and then we're gonna up that when we get to our 30s, and well, really not until we get to our 30s. We're gonna up that when we get to a solid job, we got a career path, and we're gonna be putting in 15% once we eliminate debt. But I really want to come back over to the 20s because I just reminded myself about this. All right, so in your 30s, now we should be literally having a fully funded emergency fund with about $15,000 to $20,000 into this one. All right, then also you should already be eliminating your debt. Okay, so we should already be using the debt snowball to eliminate our debt. Okay, we should be. All right, that should already be there. All right, then also as well, we should be investing 15% of our income into an IRA or a 401k. Okay, we should be investing, fully invested. Now, Anthony, I know you say, man, 15%, that's a lot of money. It is a lot of money, but it's also impactful. It is also very much so impactful, all right? So start saving towards buying a house if you already have not done that, okay? In our 30s, we should be becoming home owners, okay? This is important. Now, here's why I say this is important. If we are in a good place financially to where we have honestly set ourselves up to win, this is very, very important for us. Here's why. Watch this. Here's why. Because if we set ourselves up to win in our 20s, we can get inside of home ownership within our 30s. Ooh. Now we're talking about, we got 15% working for us when it comes to the basic investing. Now we have real estate working for us, which that is, we got compound interest on one hand side. Then we have another just equity working for us on the home equity side. Now we're making payments towards our mortgage. We're aiming to pay off our mortgage, but now our real estate goes towards our investment portfolio. Yo, you guys, so we're talking about what should you be saving, how should you be saving during each season of your life, whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s. And I wanted to take a break from today's show to introduce to some of you all and just bring back one of our favorites to join the channel. This guy's name is Frank, and he is one of the founders of Prize Pool, the bank where we all park our emergency fund, our savings account. And this has been one of the best partners throughout my personal journey. Frank was the first guy who believed in me, who stepped out and said, hey, Anthony, we love what you're doing. When I branched out on my own, and we want to partner with your show and your organization, and they have helped us grow tremendously. And so you all are wondering who's behind Prize Pool. Well, this is the guy behind Prize Pool who is a I mean, he's a serial entrepreneur. He's built several businesses. He has built several things that has made him millions of dollars. And so why not bring a guy in with his expertise and who we trust to protect our money when it's parking there. So I want to bring on Frank, the founder of Prize Pools, to give us some words of encouragement and some inspiration on what should we be doing from his expertise when it comes to our finances. What's going on, Frank? Good to see you, man.
Hey, Anthony, thanks for having me. And as you mentioned, we love working with you. We love your content very much. So glad to be a partner.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love your topic, as you know. We love savings. And I think the general take around what we believe in is really living below your means.
Yeah.
I think it's been a common theme, especially nowadays with inflation and likely a recession, establishing strong personal habits, saving your core, living below your means, and just growing your investment or your emergency nest egg is the fundamental thing we truly believe in. Yeah. And we are very strong supporters of that. I don't think that you know this. Like, one of my stories I tell our team, or how I got started with investing, is actually in college, is living on Chipotle rice and beans, as cheap as possible, and saving as much as possible month over month, right? And my big break was Apple stock back in 2006.
Wow.
Right, and it's all because I saved enough of a nest egg to make a bet, right? But without the nest egg, I don't think I will be able to make those kind of bets before. So that's my main thing, is how can we actually live below our means and save as much as possible to make the bets later on in life.
So, Frank, I'm curious, when you were in college, you were saving and investing. So you was in your 20s. Could you think back to those days? And they were just yesterday. You're young. You're younger than me, Frank. Could you think back to those days? Were your peers doing the same thing as well? Were they saving and investing? Or were they more so enjoying life and just enjoying the college life? But then you were doing both, enjoying college life, but really saving and investing. What would you say the difference between your mindset at that time compared to maybe some of your peers at that time who weren't saving and investing? They were just enjoying life.
Yeah, great question. And trust me, I was definitely enjoying, just like everyone else. But, I think there's some things you can cut back on, right? And I think not everyone was investing or trying to invest. And I had a good group of folks that were actually trying to encourage me to invest in, as well as building your network, good other investors really helps. But I think the main thing I realized, and Warren Buffett says the best, that compounding is so powerful, right? And the fact that, in your early 20s, you have that beautiful chance to start that compounding cycle now, right? And so the more you invest early, or the more you start building your investment nest egg or emergency nest egg, then compounds over time is so powerful, right? And that's what really got me the hook. It's like, hey, I really believe in it, and the math works out. And so that was kind of the guiding principle back at that time.
Man, I love it. I love it. Before we hit the record button, Frank, I was just telling you, me and you both are on the same page and we're aligned in the same areas. And as someone who's built a huge multi-million-dollar business, I'm curious, what are your honest thoughts? I teach people in their 20s and 30s, and really all people, but especially those young people, to avoid debt. And make sure your credit score is decent. You don't want to jack it up. Make sure you have a 0 credit score, and just keep it there. But it's like, really, cash is king, in my opinion. And I haven't built a huge, you've built several and sold several. And now you have a lot of different things that you worked on that have really been very successful financially. What's your thoughts on having no debt compared to having debt? What's your honest thoughts and opinion?
Great question. And I have some debt, not necessarily credit card debt, because that's too high of a crazy APR or interest, but there are other debt you can actually have. And I think it's to each their own, and how much debt makes you able to sleep at night peacefully, to be honest. And for me, it's very little debt. And honestly, I agree with the cash is king, because any investment opportunity that comes up, think of real estate, think of angel investing, think of small business, you need the cash to deploy, right? And sure, you can leverage it, you can try to borrow it, but then you actually have to then worry about that APR or that interest rate. And depending on when you got it, imagine if you got, 5-year ARM 4 years ago, and look at today's environment, you are going to be not sleeping well. Right. And so I think it really depends on the situation, and how much you can afford that risk, I'm personally on the fence of cash is king and building as much cash as possible, such that you are able then to invest in future opportunities headache free.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. I'm learning more about angel investing right now, and that's something that I'm actually doing a little bit more. I just did one angel investing into the real estate market, and I thought you was just in the tech space, but you say you're in real estate and tech space, and so I'm shocked by that. Real quick before we go, because I know a lot of 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds saying angel investing. What is that, Frank? For like the in middle school terms, what exactly is angel investing, so people can really understand what that is?
Yeah, in a nutshell, it's you as an individual investing your own hard cash into companies, right? Into small companies that are usually just starting out. You invest in this thing called a safe note, usually, which is a promissory note that you'll own future equity as the company grows up, and it gives you the chance to really ride along with the company that you believe in, right? Angel investing could also be used in a term for real estate as well, or owning some ownership of real estate. But I think it ultimately is just you owning a small piece of something that could be potentially huge, right? And that's the goal. Yeah. I will caution, angel investing is not for everyone, right? And I think you have to have a different mindset that maybe you'll lose everything in it, just because angel investing is a very long duration.
Okay.
It's not just your 1 or 2 years. You're looking at 7, 8, 10-year plus horizons to see if you get any return whatsoever. And so that's the only word of caution as well, is that you should really only angel invest if you're willing to lose it, but also at the same time, you really believe in that either company or property.
Man, I wish I was one of the angel investors in Prize Pool as much as I push you all. I really do, man. I'm like, you know what? I'm an angel investor. We're good. Let's just, I love this. I love it, love it. But man, listen, Frank, I thank you so much for partnering with us and for believing, one, in myself and my team, and then just believing in helping everyone out save, especially during this high inflation time.
Totally.
Saving is gold right now. And so for those of you all who want to learn more about Prize Pool, I want you to go to anthonyoneal.com/savings. What they are doing, Frank and his amazing team has partnered with us to where we're going to give you all an extra 10,000 tickets to go towards their grand prizes. They're giving away $10,000, $15,000 a month, sometimes even $20,000, depending on how the economy is doing and how Frank is feeling. But they love rewarding their people for saving for the future, for times like this. But specifically for my tribe, for every $1 you save, you get an extra ticket. They're going to give you all an extra 10,000 tickets if you have at least $300 inside of your savings account, because they really want to see us saving and investing and building that 3 to 6 months of emergency funds. So they're going to reward you and give you more incentives to continue saving, not spend your money, but save your money. Let it sit there. So go to anthonyoneal.com/savings. Their information will be in today's show notes, and rock with us. You see, it's not often that I have Frank and one other guy from Bethel Tech are the only people that I brought on to my show, because I love them. I love their integrity. And I know they're going to be around for a while. So thank you so much, Frank. Thank you, Prize Pool, for partnering with us. And let's get back into how we can continue saving in our 40s and 50s. They say by the year 2054 that the average African-American Black individual will have 0 to negative net worth. And I was like, man, what in the world? And so as I started studying and really diving deep into this situation, one of the key ways to set us up for one of the key ways to make sure that we do not just have 0 to negative net worth, simple, watch this, is we invest and we get into home ownership. But how do we do that? How do we get into the home ownership process? How do we in the minority community become homeowners? It's simple. Number 1, you eliminate your debt. Number 2, you should be saving money to go down towards a down payment. Number 3, you need to be reaching out to my friends over at Churchill. You see, Churchill Mortgage is the people who really, really position me to really, really win. Why do you say that, Anthony? Because they work with you no matter what your credit is. They really work with you if you have no credit score. Y'all know me, I teach you all how to eliminate debt, how to make sure you have no debt. And Churchill has partnered with me to make sure that I offer this to my community. Because if I'm going to teach you to eliminate your debt, I get it. You say, well, Anthony, don't I need a credit score to get into a home? No, it's called manual underwriting. And Churchill Mortgage are the people who are solid at doing that. They have financed all of my homes, and they're financing my rental properties, okay? And what I love about them is they're going to assess the situation. They're going to look at your rent. They're going to, like a human being is going to manually look at your entire application, your entire portfolio, and they're going to ask you questions. You know, they're going to really study you and learn exactly what is it about you that they love, and they're going to help you and walk you through the whole process. They're going to give you a certified approval within 24 to 48 hours of you applying. What is the difference between a certified approval and a pre-approval? It's a good question. You see, certified approval means that a human being, a underwriter actually looked at your account, verified your bank statements, verified your income, asked you a couple of questions to make sure that everything was correct within your application, and it said, hey, based upon the information that I've learned from you, I can guarantee you this loan, but we got to go find the house to make sure everything is good with the house before they can actually guarantee the loan they go through. And so when you go out into the market with a guaranteed certified approval, it sets you ahead of everyone else who has a pre-approval. A pre-approval comes from a computer. No human being looked at it. A certified approval means that, hey, a manual underwriter looked at it and said, yo, you're in good hands. What I also love about them is they're going to put their money behind you. They're going to give you an extra $5,000 to go towards, watch this, to go towards your earnest money. And what this is lets the sellers know, like, hey, listen, if we were to back out for any reason, here's an extra $5,000. We feel so confident. We back our process. We know that Anthony ONeal or such and such is a solid buyer. We are good. We just need to get all the information on your house so we can move forward quicker when it comes to closing this loan. And for whatever reason, if they were to back out, they're putting a guaranteed $5,000. So that puts you ahead of the game anyways, as well. And check this out. They're going to lock you in for 90 days with your interest rate, which is very good because y'all know today, during today's day and time, interest rates are fluctuating. They're going up. You don't know when they're going to go up, but they're going to lock you in for 90 days. You see, home ownership is very important. So what I want you to do is go to anthonyoneal.com/Churchill. That's anthonyoneal.com/Churchill. Tell them Anthony ONeal sent you, and they're going to walk you through your process. All right. When it comes to the 30s too as well, what should you be doing with your money in the 30s? Okay. This is, you know, it's for me, is you should already be looking at, okay, how am I spending my money? That should be a question. How am I spending my money? So we have 20K, 15 to 20K invested. So we have $1,000 invested in our 20s. We have $15,000 to $20,000 invested into our 30s. With also, we have an extra 15% that we're also investing in our 30s. Here's the thing that I really want us to start paying attention to in our 30s. What can make or break us when it comes to our money is who we're actually dating and who we are actually settling down with. You know, my pastor said something on the show that he'll be actually on the show here in a couple of days. He said, man, isn't it funny how we will marry people we won't do business with? Think about that. We will marry people who we would never consider to do business with. I want you to think about that when you're in your 30s. The person who you're marrying, the person who you're spending the rest of your life with, would you do business with them? Could you trust them with your income? Could you trust them with the vision that you have on the inside of you? You've worked hard to eliminate your debt, and you've worked hard to put $15,000, $20,000 in your savings account. You probably by this time in your 30s have at least 6 figures inside of your investment portfolio. If you're in your 30s and you don't have 6 figures inside your investment portfolio, you got to go back and look at it. You got to go back and look at where are you at? Are you drowning in debt? If you're drowning in debt and you have a whole bunch of name brand stuff inside your closet and you do not have anything invested, You need to go back to the drawing board and actually assess your financial future and where your priorities are today. I just now started enjoying life. I just now started getting jewelry. I just now started, wearing some name brand stuff because I want to make sure that my investment portfolio, my savings account, really my main thing was my savings account was at 6 figures. That was my main thing. I can't be sitting here teaching y'all to sit here and save and invest, and I don't have 6 figures saved. I'm telling y'all, put 3 to 6 months. No, for me, I want at least a good year saved for me. So that way I can know that I'm not just teaching you all, I'm actually doing more than what I'm asking you all to do. And I'm in my 30s. And I'm investing wisely. So that's for your 30s. This is for your 30s. Now let's go down to my 40s. Let me go back here to my notes, all right? 40s. Okay. 40s, okay? There's a good chance you're married by now. 40s, you probably got 1 or 2 kids, maybe 3. And if y'all really like to get it in, you probably got 4 or 5. Okay? Or maybe you were married and now you're single again. If that's you, this is how much I suggest that you save. Try to have at least 3 times, bare minimum, let's say if you just got a divorce, bare minimum 3 times what you are actually making on average. Now watch this. I know this goes back. I say to have at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved. In your 40s, I kind of want you to have about 3 times of what you make. So let's say, for an example, let me write this down. 3 times of what you make. All right. So let's say, for an example, you make at least $4,000 a month gross. Times that by 3, you should have 12,000. Now watch this. Some of you all make $7,000 a month. Times that by 3, what's that? 21,000. You should have $21,000 in your savings account. Let's just say y'all are blessed and you make $10,000 a month. Times that by 3. That's $30,000 of what I want you to have saved. That's bare minimum. Here's the ultimate goal. 6 times of what you make on average. Why do you say that, Anthony? Because in your 40s, man, you're thinking about now longevity. You're thinking about legacy. You're thinking about, freedom. You should be traveling more in your 40s. You should be enjoying life in your 40s. You and your wife, you and your spouse should be getting out and just enjoying life. Going to your kids' games and showing up to their school meetings and just popping up on them in the classrooms. In your 40s, you should be well situated in where you are financially to where there shouldn't be any major financial changes happening in your 40s. And if it is, it's solely because where you want to be in life, you need to make some changes. But by your 40s, if you've been following my plan, we're strategic. We've identified our why. We've identified our vision. We've been working a proven plan to get out of debt, to start building wealth. We have at least 6 months of our expenses saved. But you know what? Now in our 40s, we're stepping up because we want to have that freedom to where if we need to step away from our job and go experience something new, maybe go start a new career, maybe go start a new business in our 40s, we have 6 months of our average salary just sitting in the account. So now that gives us freedom to where our family's lifestyle doesn't have to change. You should have bare minimum 3 times of what you make, but the ultimate goal is 6 times what you make. I remember when I was growing up, one of my family members, man, they said, man, you should save about a year's worth of your salary. And that's why I did that, because I started off saving 3 to 6 months of my expenses. I was investing pretty well. And I said, you know what? I would actually like to have, I would like to have 6 months of my average income. And then when I stepped out on my own, I said, man, I just want to have that peace, because I just want to have at least a year to where if something was to happen, I have at least a year in my savings account to where I can really just live and enjoy life. And if I want to cut back, like on golfing or traveling or doing something like that, I can cut back and just operate in an extreme emergency. But if I have a year's worth of what I make on average, what I pay myself on average, and I pay myself six figures, then hey, boom, I can cut that down and maybe live now for, I can live about a year and 8 months, 9 months off of that. If I'm just paying just my mortgage payment and just my normal average bills and just watching what I'm doing as far as with extracurricular stuff, I can squeeze out a year, 9 months, not a year and 10 months with that income. So I would really suggest in your 40s that you get to this point. So now this way you're not forced to stay within the situation you are. Also, by now in your 40s, you are maxing out all of your retirements. Max out all investments. I could tell I don't really write that much. All investments. Okay? Right now in your 40s, you guys, you should be having at least 6 figures. You should be right around $200,000, $300,000 inside your investment portfolio, bare minimum. In your 40s, going into your 50s, man, you should be hitting between that mid 6 figures to high 6 figures if you've been investing since your 20s. Now watch this. Some of y'all just joined my tribe. Some of y'all are still in debt. And if you're still in debt, that's cool. I want you to stop investing. I want you to stop saving for 6 months. I want you to get out of debt because the foundation of building a solid future is making sure that the foundation is solid first, that you're out of debt. Then we just walk our way to gradually going up. But I just want to just show you like, hey, this is actually where I am. This is actually what I should be doing. And so from there, this is a little gauge of where you are. Okay, so listen, if you own your home, let me cut off, let me cut off my text message. You know what I'm saying? Got some text coming through. Oh, my. But here's too in your 40s. Let's say you're eliminating your debt because I teach pay off all your consumer debt. You should be in a position to where you and your spouse, if you're married or if you're single, what's the game plan to pay off your mortgage? I interviewed a lady last week. She's 35 years old and she has no mortgage. Doesn't want a mortgage. She said she'll never have a mortgage. She's 35. She loves the freedom of having no debt at all on her personal side, but she's very big on investing on the business side. Also, within your 40s, you're saving. If you have kids, you have a 529 ESA and a custodial Roth IRA. Okay? This is solely for your kids. I keep saying NK. It's okay. Okay? So you have a 529, an ESA, and a custodial Roth IRA for your kids. You're investing into that and you're setting your kids up to win. All right, let's get down to our 50s because we're coming to the end of the show. But let's start 50s and 60s. 50s and 60s. 50s and 60s. By now, you're probably watching your kids go off to college. Or you're pretty much preparing for that. And you are actually looking for retirement within the next, I would hope, next 5 years. But on average, studies are showing within the next 10 to 15 years, if you're in your 50s, 60s, you're within the next 5 years. Right now, if you're in your 50s and 60s, you should be looking at anywhere between $500,000 to, $1 million plus inside of your investment portfolio. This is if you was maxing out your 401ks on your jobs. This is if you were actually maxing out your IRAs, your traditional IRA or your Roth IRA. If you was maxing out your fully funded HSAs, and you should have a fully funded savings, and hopefully by the time you're in your 60s, you paid off your mortgage. Right now, it's about, hey, you should be seeing the fruit of your labor from your 20s and your 30s. But I want to make sure that I'm being careful and make sure I'm being sensitive here. Are you, if you are just now becoming a part of this family and you're just now saying, you know what, Anthony, I actually like your message. I actually want to become debt-free, but I'm 50. Is it too late for me to really enjoy my life financially? Absolutely not. Will you have to work a little bit harder? Absolutely. Will you have to invest a little bit more? Absolutely. But is it late? Absolutely not. It's not late. And you can do it. And you will do it. They say that when you hit your 60s, you should have at least, I want to write this down. I want you to see this. So when you're in your 60s, you should have, the main thing, 10 to 12 times of your salary saved and invested. And you should be pulling only the interest from the saved and invested portfolio. You know, I was sitting down with I call them young people because I don't like calling them old. I was sitting down with a young person and with this young individual, and he was 68 years old. And his father was very, very strong on no debt. His father was very, very strong on making sure that he thinks about the future. And his father told him, like, every time you get a check, give to God, give to yourself, give to your future self, then pay your bills. I was like, future self? Wait, yourself and then future self? He said, yeah. Give something to you now, enjoy it, but give something to your future self that you can't enjoy today, but your future self can enjoy. I was like, that is so good. He was like, don't just think about today, but think about tomorrow. Don't think about just enjoying life today, but think about enjoying life tomorrow. And so for every year, every time he got paid, he would slowly put money into the savings, slowly put money into an investment portfolio. And he retired with $3.2 something million. $3.2 something million. He said on average, he said he only pulls the interest from that. And he said, Anthony, on average, I'll see about $260,000 a year just from the interest of that 3-point-something million dollars. He said, I sit down with my financial advisor and it automatically just pays me out. And I don't pull from the principal. He said, when I retired, I already had paid off my mortgage. I'm living in the same home. He said, when I retired, I did pull a little bit out of my retirement account because I bought a brand new car. He said, I've always wanted a brand new car. But he said, but I love my home. We did a couple of upgrades. He said, I think they pulled out close to like $300,000 liquid, upgraded their home, made it a little bit more modern. They bought a brand new car, paid for his daughter to do something. I think it was around schooling or something like that. I can't remember. I don't want to lie. And he said, man, so we have right about three and some change, $3 million in there. And he said, man, we just live off of the compound interest. And then they created a trust and a will. And inside of that living trust, he's giving that money to his kids. And he was like, and the kids will not be able to access all of it, but they will be able to access some of it as they get older, as they hit different stages in their life. And to me, it's like, wow, he's making $250,000 at home doing nothing. He's making $250,000 at home in his 60s, going into his 70s, because when he was in his 20s, when he was in his 30s, he was enjoying then, and he was setting himself up to enjoy tomorrow. He can enjoy grandchildren. He can, if his wife wake up and say, babe, I want to drive over to the park, or I want to go and just go to the Bahamas for a weekend. They are in a place and in a position to where they can do that. Wouldn't you enjoy life to where you can sit back and say, babe, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go? My team and I are going to Israel here in a few weeks. And I was just telling them, I was like, wow, man. The fact that the company, my company, the Neatness Network, can pay for my staff and their spouses to go to Israel to just learn more about Jesus. And we're going there to tour around because next year in the year of 2023, we're going to take 100 of our family members, more information to come soon, to Israel. And while we're at Israel, we're going to talk about life. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about relationships while also talking about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We're going to travel 20 miles across the world, not 20 miles, 20 hours across the world, so we can go turn our Bible into 3D. And as we're there, and while we're there, we're going to learn about stewarding. We're going to learn more about what does the Bible mean about stewarding? How do we get out of debt? How do we build wealth? How do we have healthy relationships? How do we, if you're married, I'm bringing in my pastor and his wife, and they're going to be talking about, here's what God talked about having amazing intimacy, amazing sex in the Bible. And you know what, y'all? This is where it was written. This is where God walked. This is where God split the sea. This is the boat. This is where God got baptized. It's going to be amazing. But the fact that we are in a position where we can financially do that as a company, to where we can make a financial impact like that, to where we can take people like you, it just blows my mind. But it couldn't happen if I only thought about yesterday, but I didn't think about today. And I want you to be in the same position as me. What are you doing with your money? Where are you going with your money? What are the things that you want to do in the future? Where? Wouldn't you love to be 60 years old and tell your wife or tell your spouse, babe, let's go to Africa? Wouldn't it be amazing to wake up on a Thursday and say, babe, tomorrow, let's go to Paris? And don't have to worry about bills or calling off on a job or finding a, it's like, no, let's go. What if you're 30-something? What if you're in your 40s right now and you're homeschooling your kids and you say, no, you know what, kids? We're going to take a field trip to Dubai. And while we're in Dubai, we're going to learn about a lot of different things and you're still going to get your education. Isn't that amazing? But we can't get there if we don't think about it. So if you're watching this and if you're in your 20s and if you're in your 30s and if you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s and plus, I want you to comment below. Let me know. Just put 20s, put 30s. Let me know what season that you're in. I want to know what season that you're in, and are you at where you should be based upon my math and my numbers that I put on today's screen. If you are behind, I'm going to link the video that I did about how to get out of debt payoff 101. And if you're behind, I want you to go watch that video. I want you to make sure that you take advantage of this video and follow the steps that I put inside that video. We're going to get there together. I promise you. I want to thank today's sponsors, Bethel Tech and Churchill, for always partnering with me, man. I love them. They've been with me for a year now. And because of them, I'm able to produce this kind of content, the quality and the excellence because of their partnership. So thank you, Bethel. Thank you, Churchill, for partnering with us. And listen, as we close out, wherever you are in the stage of your life, I want you to know now is the time to be saving for your financial future. I want you to start ASAP. And the key ingredient to that is living below your means. And the next key ingredient to that is making your shovel deeper. And if you're really ready to make an extra 6 figures, and if there's something on the inside of you and you're ready to start your own business or ready to build your own brand, I want you to join me at my course. The cart closes tomorrow. You can go to ONeal.com or click the link in today's show notes to get all the information about how you can sign up for this course. It's $497. $497 will change your life. And I'm going to show you how we've been able to generate 6 figures a month within my business. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Make 6 figures extra a year on the side. Go to AnthonyNeal.com. Save and invest as much as you can, you guys. These are my recommendations for you to change your life. I want to leave you with today's scripture. Proverbs 21, verse 20. It says, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. Repeat after me for today's affirmation. My good money habits today will give me a better life tomorrow. Say it one more time. My good money habits today will give me a better life tomorrow. Repeat it 5 times. I'll see you in the next video.